of a spice bag.
I'm a snack box man, I won't lie.
The best burger in town.
Tuesday takeaway with John Duggan.
Get on it.
Oh, yeah, it is the Tuesday takeaway with John Duggan. John, good morning to you.
Ger and Shane, how's the form?
Yeah, pretty good. How are you?
You enjoying your new environment?
Well,
Getting used to it. It's going great so far.
I think we're doing all right, you know?
Yeah, considering the circumstances. We've talked about Tinder, moon landings briefly. We've got onto a few different things that we probably didn't expect John this morning to get into. But
Well, I'm the king of tangents, so you can take me anywhere you want to go.
I wasn't sure what the last word you were going to say there. I thought you were going to say the king of something else.
Well, yeah, the king of tipping and golf. And Tottenham Hotspur fandom. So yeah, 3 takeaways for the weekend. I would feel that Pep Guardiola needs to get out of his own way because I still think it's an issue at Manchester City, and I don't know why he was changing the shape of his defence. And I do feel that there's an issue of leadership in that team when it isn't on cruise control, when it's not on autopilot, when they have to go on to actually using the controls of the plane.
Yeah.
There's an issue. And actually, since Company left, Company wasn't, say, the best footballer at Manchester you ever had, but he had something about him. He had something to... And you could feel that Liverpool bullied City in terms of the atmosphere and the day. And that would worry me if I'm a City fan expecting to win the Champions League this season.
yeah, because they're going to face those atmospheres.
Well,
And also teams playing on the break at the latter stages.
I don't think their problem at Anfield is the atmosphere. I think that it's they have to think about stuff and they have to use the controls. When the whole point about there's famous footage of Pep when he just got the Barcelona job. They're in one of the Middle Eastern countries on a pre-season, and he's screaming at the players because somebody's mispast it, and it's like it's all of the best players in the world in that one group, and the rondo has gone wrong or something like that, and he's absolutely screaming at them because he wants them to have trained to such an intense level that it becomes automatic, right?
Yes.
But then when you make them think about, oh, I'm not in this position, I'm in a different position because we haven't done this. We haven't played this system week in, week out. We've played a different system week in, week out. It got automatic. And now it's like not automatic anymore. You're actually going against your own principles. You're going against the bit where like everybody understands their role so well that it's second nature to them and they don't need to think. And there were even bits of the game where like they're still able to do it in bits of the game. They were still sensational. Like under pressure, they would the press would come and it would just be off by a tiny bit, and all of a sudden somebody's in the middle of midfield with space, and it just didn't work out for them. But there's just that little extra bit where they're like, I have to go and have a conversation with Pep now, which don't really want to have to do in the middle of the game.
You can't become a truly great team in the legacy of the game by being automatons, which is what they have become, and beautifully at times. But when, as I said, they need to find that bit of individualism or leadership, or somebody to just on the pitch go, no, we're just going to let's slow this down a bit. And that'll be a worry in the latter stage. And you can see it in the statistics that in recent years in the Champions League, when they've conceded, they've tended to concede it again and again in quick space of time. So there's definitely an issue there. I think the dominant person at the whole club is not any player, it's Pep. So I think he needs to get out of his own way. The second thing is, I think, and I was really felt upset for him, as much as you might divide opinion, Richarlison looked like he was absolutely devastated after the Spurs game because he picked up a calf injury. But he's going to be okay for the World Cup. I think Richarlison's going to have a bigger World Cup than people think. Because, okay, he's not Ronaldo, he's not Romario, but he's going to lead that line for Brazil if he's fit. I think he scored 7 goals in his last 6 games for his country. And I do actually think that Richarlison is going to lead that line over Jesus for Brazil. And I think even though he's not the main man at Tottenham, I think Richarlison's going to have a bigger World Cup than people think. He's 30-1 to win the Golden Boot.
Is there a possibility that Neymar is somewhat distracted by the court case? And, and actually might not deserve his place in the team anymore?
Well, there's so many players. Like someone like Martinelli might not even get in a look in this Brazil situation. Jesus at the moment, even though Chichi has had a long relationship with Jesus, and Jesus was flopped at the 2018 World Cup. There's so many players, Vinicius Junior, Rodrigo, all these players that could feature for Brazil. But I do think Richarlison is going to have a bigger World Cup than people think. 1 month out.
You look at like even Anthony as well playing well for United.
There you go.
Like
Bruno Guimaraes. All the Brazilians are playing well at the moment. Firmino's playing really well. Brazil are going to win that World Cup, lads. And I think it's an absolute banker.
Even Casemiro and Fred are getting game time beside each other at club level. Not necessarily going to be the box midfielders for the World Cup, but I mean, the depth in that Brazil squad is, and you called it out at the start of the year. You said Brazil were your shouts to win the World Cup. that probably hasn't changed.
There's something original about it because they're the favourites. But
Yeah, but I mean, 33 days out, I kind of thought maybe some of the European teams would have put forward a surge.
if Spain had a proper striker,
Yeah.
you think that Spain, like Germany, will be back because they've got a better manager. I don't think England, with the manager they have, can do it. I was actually asking on Twitter the other day, who are the outsiders? Who is the dark horse? Because there's always a Turkey or there's always a South Korea. There's always a team that can come out of. Maybe it might be an African team. It could be Senegal this year. Endicott was saying Canada, which is interesting. I think the Netherlands have got one of the easiest groups. And I do think they have a good manager. I actually think having a good manager is important at the world stage. And I think Louis van Gaal, okay, maybe in the forward positions they're not that great, but they do have good defenders and they do have a good access in midfield. I think the Dutch might do okay in the tournament. And they've had a good Nations League.
I like I was about to say Dundalk, Denmark.
Denmark, yeah.
I know Denmark are like dark horses for every tournament it
Yeah.
seems, but I think legitimately for this one they could cause a few ructions.
The third takeaway is that Ricky Fowler, guys, is on the way back, and don't be surprised if he wins tournaments again and could contend in the majors again. He worked with Butch Harmon for years. They split up. He started working with Butch again in the last few months, and Butch says he's 75% there. We've got a new golf podcast, Mark Your Card. I headlined Ricky 2 weeks ago, and he missed the cut. But last week he was second in Japan. And I do think he's coming back, and I think he'll be the player who'll be the kind of the comeback story. Interesting, guys, that there's a movie being maybe touted for John Daly with Jonah Hill. That would be pretty amazing. When my sister was at the Masters at Augusta, she got me a John Daly
Brilliant
t-shirt stuff. So she met him and got a few things signed. So
would Jonah Hill have been your number one pick to play John Daly?
Jonah Hill's awesome.
It's one of those picks when you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, obviously he's going to play John Daly.
Yeah,
that's
like it would be a great story, and John hasn't been that well, so hopefully he's getting better. And just the story of the PGA driving all night and winning the Open. And I remember Bill Clinton rang him and he didn't pick up the call.
That's Daly to a T.
Yeah,
excuse the pun.
All the was it the picture that they showed him after the Masters or around the Masters when he was in the Hooters. Just playing slot machines and stuff like that kind of thing, So, I'd love to. I don't know if anybody here has interviewed him. You guys interviewed him?
Yeah, we had him on. He was quiet.
Right.
We had him on the phone because he was involved with some golf club in Ireland. I want to say somewhere down in Cork.
Right.
And we had him on. I watched him play around inside the ropes. I was stewarding at the Irish Open when I was like 15 or 16 down in Mount Juliet, and got to follow him around for the whole day. It was pretty amazing to watch, like just the raw power.
Yeah.
'Cause at that stage, like people
He was the biggest driver of the game.
people were not driving the ball that far.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
people didn't have a club that had a head that size. Like Ronan Rafferty at the time was still playing with wooden-headed clubs.
Right.
And it was just like, whoa. But like a very relaxed fella,
Yeah.
Off the booze at that point.
Right. Okay.
And talking about being off the booze a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Over the 18 holes. So
Is he one of those people who had, when you meet certain celebrities or sports people, you're like, they have an aura where you're like, okay, that they are not just larger than life, but almost when you meet them, you're like, okay, this is, I get it now. I get it.
actually, he was quite quiet.
Right?
But then would come alive when he was absolutely killing the ball,
Smoking any cigars?
Don't think so. Not cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes.
When's the last time you smoked a cigar?
I would say 1995. I know, maybe 10 years.
Okay.
Smoked one at the Imrose a couple of weeks ago.
Did you?
Yeah, a couple of them.
Were you the man who brought the cigars?
No, someone gave them to Nathan, and
You don't know who.
Nathan pulled them out, and myself and Nathan had a bit of a.
Colin Boog says it was you. Yeah,
It certainly wasn't me that brought them.
What?
Oh, Colin was also smoking them. Sorry, yeah, 100%. Not to finger pointing.
I was in town the other night and having a drink, and got an Instagram from Colin. Oh yeah, I'm around. Just pop in. So I did pop in and had a drink with Colin. So it's this is the thing when you're on the circuit,
When we had the Royal Oak a couple of weeks ago, John.
Yeah, I'm on my holidays, and I'm almost trying to. I am working hard, but I also on my holidays from this Saturday, and almost feel like I'm in the departure lounge in my mind.
D-Mob happy. Yeah, you're going to the Kentucky Derby, are you?
No, the Breeders' Cup.
Breeders' Cup.
Sorry, but in Kentucky though. Yeah, I can't wait. I've been looking forward to it all year. Keeneland. It's almost like it's the horse capital of the States in terms of it's the Coolmore almost of the States, like the breeding operation.
Yeah. Well, the Alley House is in Louisville as well. Is that?
Yeah, so I arrive on the Wednesday evening. I've got 3 flights in the one day, which would be fun. And I go from Dublin to New York to Chicago to Lexington, and there until the Sunday. The races themselves, Friday and Saturday, 10 races each day. It looks unbelievable. on Instagram, and hopefully there'll be a good Irish contingent there. Aidan O'Brien generally, and it's been something I've been planning for about a year. So
Bit of bourbon.
They've got the bourbon trail. There's about 20 distilleries, so you can go to each one, and you obviously go getting your bourbon tour and stuff.
Like the 12 pubs of Christmas.
Pretty much, yeah. Obviously, you can't be drinking liters of bourbon. But the Muhammad Ali Centre is in Louisville. It's an hour and a half from Lexington, so I might try and get down there on the first day.
Yeah.
Because that's actually, I didn't even know that Churchill Downs, where the Kentucky Derby is in Louisville.
Right.
And Lexington's about an hour and a half down the road. So
when you're in the vicinity, it'd be rude not to.
it would be rude not to, and it'd be a missed opportunity not to go.
Bit of Colonel Sanders action as well.
Well, maybe, I mean, they've got to do all the cliche things, all the breakfasts and everything,
I look forward to the Instagram post.
Yes, thank you.
That was John Duggan's final Tuesday takeaway for a few weeks. John, enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
A million.
Thank you very much.
Bit of a spice bag.
I'm a snack box man, I won't lie.
The best burger in town.
Tuesday takeaway with John Duggan.
Get on it.